Jason Hillman, Vice President, General Counsel of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I've been there since 2005 and looking forward to now our 8th year in Cleveland. Oddly enough, there was no master plan to become a lawyer. Candidly, my training was in journalism. Went to Michigan State University for undergraduate work and had always wanted to be a writer or a broadcaster on television, and had a great opportunity through an internship that actually started in high school that led to my covering sports at Michigan State for a television affiliate out of Detroit, Michigan. And that led ultimately, after undergraduate work, for a position as an intern at the NBC affiliate in Detroit. It led to another position as a television reporter for a regional sports network that covered the Detroit Tigers, the Detroit Pistons, and the Detroit Red Wings. I was effectively almost like a sideline reporter, if you will. Feature reporter, producer. Shifted from TV to radio after a certain amount of time. This was back in the late 90s. And then saw really the future of that business and really felt that security was somewhere else, and decided I needed something else, and looked for some career to try and translate my writing skills, hopefully my speaking skills, and the natural connection was law. That ended up leading to a 4-year career as an associate at at Jaffe Raitt, a law firm in Detroit, as a real estate and transactional attorney. But I always was searching for some way to marry the sports and the broadcasting background. Didn't really know how I was going to do it. Didn't know if it was going to be as an agent, work on the team side, work for a league, work for a journal, who knows. And as luck would have it, in 2005, a Detroit, Michigan-based ownership group decided to buy the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I knew some people connected to our ownership group, threw my hat in the ring, and got the job, and we've been there ever since. So, sure. I'd say the biggest transition is that in the general counsel role, you're expected to know a little about a lot. Really spread your arms wide and cover a tremendously large amount of subject material. You don't necessarily have to be the quote-unquote expert in that subject material on all things, but you've got to be able to manage, know a little bit about a lot, know when you have to go outside for help. So, for example, on any given day, I could have an employment matter, an intellectual property matter, a lease compliance interpretation issue about our lease for our arena, some litigation management on a slip and fall, something related to the Americans with Disabilities Act. I think I just named 6 items. That could be a morning. So those are 6 different practice areas where in private practice you may have people, and often you will have people that are geared totally to that practice area. Now you've got a 24-year-old kid selling season tickets in your building who looks to you to be that resource. And so it's incumbent upon you to either know the answer or very quickly know how to get the answer. I'd say that's the biggest separator between private practice. I'd say a couple things. That you use the phrase sports law, and it's a commonly used phrase. I don't know what sports law is in some respects, and I don't mean to be flip about that. It is. There are some people who I think believe that sports law is sort of the toy department of the law practice, because it's in an area that we all love. But at core, it's what we all know the legal practice to be. It's bankruptcy. It's antitrust. It's intellectual property. It's corporate finance. It's litigation. It's slip and fall, no different than if you were general counsel for a large department store chain. And so up against an athletic backdrop, and it's certainly what we all do, it's core legal principles. And I'd say, so don't lose sight of that. The second thing is, be first and foremost a sound business advisor. And I say that in the respect of, make sure you're reading the Wall Street Journal as much as you're reading Sports Business Journal. Now, it doesn't always happen every day. Quite frankly, for me, it's the last thing on my desk that I look at before I go to bed. But it's important to make sure you're up to speed on that, as well as what's going on in your own industry.